Greetings, everyone. It is once again time for some Brony debates. I hope you're all doing well out there on this fine Saturday evening. Yep, I'm getting my days all mixed up as per usual, losing my mind. We all know this. I just realized my tip jar is tipped over. Gosh darn it. We're gonna, you know what that means, guys. We gotta do such a good job on the stream that y'all wanna refill this tip jar so it pops, so it knocks right back over again. There's Talon's donations from last night. Let's see if they knock me over again and they're holding me in place. Can we do? Can Brawny stand on his head with that horse stance? Ah, literally horse stance. I love that. Oh no, but another one. Ah, they're all coming. Okay, yeah.
No!
What a heck of a way to start the stream. So I've got EmeraldSpencer, DJ Skywalker, and the, as always, beautiful Princess Heather Blossom with me tonight. How are you guys doing? Emerald, how you doing?
Pretty good. A gecko fell on my head when I came in my door earlier.
That's hilarious. You had a gecko in your house?
He's currently under my fridge.
He's gonna
at least
die
the cats
there.
aren't there to kill it.
Well,
Yep, I'm gonna have to fish out a corpse at some point.
Yeah, he's not gonna be able to get
Oh,
out of there,
yeah.
unfortunately.
I think we pulled back our own fridge and we found a couple like lizard corpses.
Yeah. DJ, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right, and now feel a little bit better about only having to deal with pill bugs in my house. I don't need to deal with lizards.
Hey, the lizards are cool.
Grew,
I
Florida.
found some of my freaking shower one time and that freaked me out. I was like, oh, my little girl streaks.
Hey, at least it wasn't a wolf spider.
I found the carcass of a wolf spider while cleaning yesterday. It was in the the living room where we keep the video games.
I'm about to ruin that for you.
What's the matter?
Spiders molt.
Yeah.
It's alive and it's somewhere else, honey.
Yep. I gathered.
And it's bigger.
Cool. I have nothing, productive to say about that. Yeah, we're gonna find it at some point. But it was definitely the carcass or the molting of a wolf spider, which is gonna be hilarious.
When it molted, it might have wings.
Nah. Yeah, I get plenty of exposure therapy with my arachnophobia at work, actually.
So you think it's better?
No, I still hate spiders and I still don't want to be around them, but at least I'm not like, and I've been fine for a while actually, but like, I used to not even, like if I knew there was a spider in the room, I would not be able to be in that room.
And I'm that way with roaches. I
was like that until I was in my 20s. And I don't know at what point exactly that I grew out of that, but I know I was at least mid-20s before I could even functionally be in this. I remember like the first time I was able to like be in the same room as a spider when I was 23 living in an apartment. There was a big old spider in my shower and I hucked a shampoo bottle at it from, so like my bedroom, and I had the master in this 2-bedroom apartment, and my bedroom like had a clean line of sight into the bathroom. So I was like halfway into the bedroom, looking into my bathroom right across where I could see the spider, and I just hucked a shampoo bottle at it from across the room and killed it that way. So that's that's what I and I don't know, maybe that was when it started turning around, but I do not, spiders and I don't get along, and I'm, and at my job, I'm unfinished houses, construction sites, up in attics, and in the soffit, if you guys even know what that is. Basically, all the places that spiders love to make their nests, and won't get disturbed for a long time. So yeah, and I am fully aware that my fear of spiders is irrational, but I've realized I also have a fear of anything that looks like a bee or a wasp, And that one I feel is a little bit more justified because my older brother was not allergic to bees until he suddenly was. And I don't want to find out. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Also, I mean, it's just
meowing in my room again.
Just generally unpleasant. Anyway, we've been at this for a little bit too long. So, Heather, how are you doing tonight?
Doing quite all right. I had a nice nap, had a nice call with my mom and my nephew, and I did my nails. They're red, white, and blue with glitter on the blue, so it looks like stars. I'm so American.
Oh, that's right. You know something? I found a video earlier, and I meant to show it to you. Maybe I still will here. You know what? I can show you on air. It's funny. So let me just share my screen so we can get into the Reddit reading in a minute. But first we have to thank all of everybody that supports us on Patreon, especially on the $10 and up tier, such as Princess Heather Blossom, who is with us. There's also
No.
DJ, and oh, you're not with us, or are you yelling at a cat again?
No, forget the cat's pulling the cord that's connected to my mouse.
Ah, freaking cats. Anyway, we got Heather, DJ, and Emerald, who are all on the Patreon and with us tonight. There's also Shady Oak, Autoknight, Senko, Rain, Billy, Alden, Kanto, Sonic, Alicia, Calbeck, StarChaser, VentureCorp, Willyzin, Icanus, Vulpecula, Raptor's Talon, Jimmy, Jay Yoshi, and Dark Malcontent. Check out all their links in the link tree, as well as my link tree for what you get in return. And don't forget to check out Brawny'sDojo.com if you're at all interested in online karate classes. Now then, I'm going to tab over here, pop this video on real quick. You guys might have heard that for just a second. Heather, are you back with us?
Yeah, freaking, I was pulling on my mouse wondering what the hell was that.
Yeah,
oh, wait, I know what this is going to be. I've never seen it, but I'm super happy right now.
Yeah.
I ate so much fucking shit on the 4th of July. I said I wouldn't, but then I did, and I totally fucked up my diet,
geez, that's
and now I'm paying for it by
that was a
working
whole
out
lot of
that
butt right in front of the
100-degree
screen.
weather. I hate my fucking life. I hate myself so much. Why the fuck did I do that? Work, bitch!
This is her thing, but you know, because that fat ass, she's got to work. She's got to work, bitch.
Is that you, Heather?
I was thinking about that meme video today, and the fact that they did it with Rarity just makes my life complete.
Of course.
I will have to rewatch it later because I'm a moron and forgot I had you muted so that your recording didn't come through on my Pal World recordings.
God almighty. I'll show it to you.
Whatever,
later.
I saw the title and channel, so I'll search it up later.
Indeed. Anyway, so let's take a look at the chat real quick. I do have it pulled up. We got Gojillion saying hello, Rusty saying hello, Paladin saying all four tonight. Awesome. Nathan saying hi, Brawny. Gojillion saying I hate spiders. And Rusty saying as long as you don't have to deal with snakes, you should be good. I'm not as worried about snakes, and maybe I should be because snakes are way more venomous, especially like you're way more likely to run into a venomous snake in Florida than you are a venomous spider, or at least and the venomous spiders that Florida has typically can't do you a whole lot of damage. Snakes could kill you. We got snakes that can kill you in Florida. Spiders with wings,
At
horror
least
movie
snakes
idea.
don't hide in the corners of your pool screen supports.
Yeah, Gojillion can relate as an arachnophobe. You're worried about spiders and snakes. Yes, I am. Gojillion says, speaking of snakes, I found a garter snake in my back yard when I was taking out debris to the curb. Let's see here. And yeah, we're just everybody laughing at that video. I forgot how much cursing there was in that. So hopefully nobody's put off by that. But first we got this one here. Is the episode For Whom the Sweetie Belle Toils a play on words for whom the bells toll by Metallica? Yes. Why is
I
that
just thought this was funny because Honey,
Was it
scroll
from Who the
down.
Bell
I
Tolled
think,
Hard predate Metallica?
It definitely
yeah,
does.
it's from Ernest Hemingway. Shakespeare also says it in its works. There's like so many like other ones that I'm pretty sure are more likely than the fucking Metallica song. And forget
So
Achilles.
let's see what the comments say. Oh, there's only 2 comments. One of them's got a pride flag in the background, so that opinion is automatically invalidated. But Wonder Crystal says,
it's not an opinion; it's a fact.
it's
They're
most
literally
likely
saying where the
Yep.
text comes from.
or maybe Hemingway or John Donne. I think it's in Shakespeare too. Yeah, that's kind of funny.
It's a common saying from "Who the Bell Tolls" is a kind of an archaic, but it is a saying. That's probably where it comes from.
So that was
I
that
included
was
this one because it was
4.
funny to me.
My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, Season 4, For Whom the Sweetie Belle Toils. Who wrote this episode? This episode was... jar is tipped over. Gosh darn it. Oh, somebody... You know what that means, guys. That was...
I'm hearing it too.
Yeah, that was Patreon coming through. Anyway, who wrote this episode?
Dave Polsky, it says.
Dave Polsky. We're gonna go ask him which one he meant. Did you mean, John? Did you mean Shakespeare?
Can you go to trivia? Because like it might say in there.
Trivia.
Actually, it probably says right here in the freaking title. The title's reference to a line in the John Donne fucking thing. The John Donne work, Devotions Upon Emergent Occasions, published in 1624, was later the title for the Ernest Hemingway novel From Whom the Bell Tolls. I'm more willing to believe it's that than the Metallica song, because I feel like that if we look at those things, there might be more correlation with what's happening, as opposed to like I can't remember the Metallica song From Whom the Bell Tolls like in my head right now, but I doubt the song has much correlation with what's going on here.
So, by the way, guys, don't forget.
I very distinctly remember the lyrics for Whom the Bell Tolls, Time Marches On.
So don't forget, everybody, in the description there is a link to a Discord server. If you would like to come on the show, join that Discord server and tell us what you want to talk about. And if I find you interesting, I'll give you permission to join the call. James Dennis says, hey, welcome, James. I haven't seen your name before. So does Honeydrop the Unicorn. Welcome back, Honeydrop. Now then. All right, this guy says, am I a brony? Emerald, do you want to take this? You want to read this one for us?
Certainly. Hi, so I'm asking this due to a disagreement with my mom. Apologies if this isn't the right subreddit to ask this one. So, my definition is an adult fan of My Little Pony who actively engages with the show and or fandom. My mom's is a male fan that got into My Little Pony as an adult. We started arguing about it because I describe myself as a Brony, but I grew up watching the show, so my mom thinks that since I started as a kid, I can't be one. Thoughts? I'll give you thoughts. Your mom's wrong.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on this one. Also, I consider myself a Brony, and I am not a man.
Yeah, that was the thing that the term Pegasister was, and I was randomly thinking about this like a couple of days ago. The term Pegasister was around for like a couple of months, and then most Pegasisters I knew decided they didn't like it. And most Pegasisters, they would just be like, oh, that's, for whatever reason. I heard a few different reasons. They were just like, I don't like that name, so I would rather be called a Brony. And
it's just not catchy.
Yeah.
It doesn't roll off the tongue very well.
It really
too many
doesn't,
syllables.
Yeah, too much. Brony is shorter, easier to type.
Why does
I
Brony
think
have
that's why
to be
the
an adult
otakus
fan?
gave up on trying to deflect the term weeb.
Why does Brony have to have adult in the description at all?
Well, I
don't know, because I guess that's just how it started. The Bronies were the adult male fans of My Little Pony. Like, originally it was that. Like, it was just a surprising fandom that rose up. And then, of course there were kids.
Indeed.
But, like,
I mean, at this point, I just say it as a reference to the fandom as a whole.
It has been generalized. It's pretty big in general now.
The same way that, like, in a plural sense, the word man can refer to all of humanity. Brony can be all of the fandom. So yeah, and here's the thing. The term brony is so loose that it is one of those things that, like, if you self-identify as a brony, then you're a brony, right? I've met bronies that were all up in the fandom that didn't even watch the show. Like, literally didn't watch the show. They loved the comics, and they were a huge fan of the comics, and they liked a lot of fan work, but they never watched the show. One guy in particular that I'm remembering, he couldn't because he had sensory issues, and Pinkie Pie's voice gave him migraines, so he couldn't watch the show.
That is unfortunately hilarious.
Yeah. So, you know, and I had another friend early on in the fandom, like in 2012, and he was into the show, and he collected the comics, and you know, as far as like the typical definition of Brony would go, this guy was a Brony. He knew about the fandom. He you know, participated to a certain degree, but he refused to call himself a Brony because Bronies just had a really bad reputation for being extremely cringe, which he had a valid point in 2012. And he was like, yeah, after I heard that there were people in their late 20s and 30s going to BronyCon so they could meet Michelle Creeber and flirt with her when Michelle Creeber was 11, 12, 13, whatever year she was that. Whatever, yeah. He at that point he refused to acknowledge himself as a Brony. So a couple of people ruined the whole name for him. And if you ask, you know, if I went to the next convention and I asked every single Brony there why they got into the fandom, I could probably get upwards of 20 different answers, but they would be, you know, across the various subsects of the fandom, but they would all be unique. And, you know, why they call themselves a Brony, you know, what aspects of the fandom that they participate in now. Point is, everybody's different. And so if you want to call yourself a Brony, go for it. We've seen Bronies that don't even, like, participate in anything canon, like the comics or the show or anything like that. They're just, like, I've met people that, like, that call themselves a Brony just because they like Fallout Equestria.
Yeah, or people who just like Brony music.
Yeah. So that's everything there. I've been talking for a long time. Does anybody else have anything to say?
Not really.
Based on this definition, I'd be disqualified.
Yeah, because you got into it as a kid, didn't you?
I got into it as a teenager. Does that count?
Yeah, I was a teen, like, at least 13.
Yeah. I forget how old I was, but I got into it right after it started airing. Because somebody that I had, you know, my friend Northwind, who's, you know, helped me with a lot of the art, especially early on in my channel, she made like a video from one of the episodes that like used a sound bit from it. And I was like, dang, the frick was that from? And she said, it was My Little Pony. And I was like, oh, that sounds like it would poison your mind. And she goes, nah, watch it. So I watched it, and that was 2010, and it was all downhill from there.
Yep, and when you asked her how it feels creating a monster, she said it feels effing awesome.
Yeah, I remember that. Let's see here. Let's see. Crystal says, hey, awesome people, who's going to TrotCon? Is anybody going to TrotCon?
It's Brent going.
I didn't even hear about it.
People have been telling me to go to TrotCon. Shoot. Between money this year and wedding next year, I probably am not traveling for conventions. I also, yeah, and also like, I don't think the fandom likes me very much, so I don't really have a reason to go to a convention. Like, so, I'm gonna miss conventions. I'm gonna miss them a lot. But you know, maybe if I'm wrong on all these things, I'll go to TrotCon in a couple of years if it's still around. We'll find out. Anyway, Crystal also says Pegasister is overrated.
Really? I don't think it's rated at all. No one likes it.
Yeah, no, nobody.
Everyone was whelmed by it.
Yeah, nobody's used it since at least 10 years. I haven't heard that term.
You know, last time I heard it was when I joined the fandom, which was like 2013, 2014.
Yeah, I think 2014 was the last time I heard that term. Let's see here. All right. Paladin Pony T wants to know what's wrong with liking Fallout Equestria. I didn't say anything was wrong with liking Fallout Equestria. I just said that this one particular guy called himself a brony, but all he liked was Fallout Equestria. He didn't know anything about the show.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I knew one guy that was you know, I am gonna throw this anecdote out there. Every brony that I knew that got into the fandom and was in the fandom for its like grimdark, creepypasta, like got into it because of Rainbow Factory and cupcakes. Every single one of those people just turned out to be a horrible, horrible person. Like actual frickin' get away from me, you are probably a danger to yourself and others psychopath. And like I gave them the benefit of the doubt for the long time. I was like, okay, that's different, but I'm a brony, I have no room to talk, and then they actually turned out to be psychopaths. So that's just something I want to...
Lovely.
Yeah, just keep that in mind.
I liked the grimdark aspects as an edgy teen.
If somebody likes crazy things like that, there's a decent chance they're a psychopath. Still treat everybody as an individual. Wait for them to prove the stereotype, and don't judge until then. But when they do, at least you're not surprised. Okay, next one. What would you rewrite?
Don't judge until you do.
Yeah, don't judge until they give you a reason to judge. What would you rewrite about MLP G5? So, DJ, you want to tackle this one for me?
Certainly. Hi, I'm rewriting the whole of Gen 5 for a school project. Honestly, that sounds dope. Do that. Just wanted some ideas to help me think more on how to change it. Please refrain from just saying make it like G4 or delete it, because that's not the question. The question is if you could rewrite it.
Okay.
First off, first thing you do, change Opaline's entire backstory.
Yeah, I'm disqualified from this one right out the gate.
Fix her hair.
Fix her hair? What's wrong with her hair?
Her Opaline's hair looks stupid. Don't tell me you think that hair looks good.
That would imply he's probably seen the character model.
I have seen Opaline. I know what she looks like. I know she's like purple on blue or something like that, or blue on.
He's like a magenta with like a white mane with blue stripes. The coloration isn't what bothers me. It's the hairstyle. She's got these weird squiggly shit. It looks like fucking
I could not draw
Power
Opaline.
Ranger villain, but her hair upside down.
I could not draw Opaline from memory. So
you couldn't draw her period, to be fair.
Yeah. So
that's the first thing you got to do to fix the story. Is you got to change her entire background. None of this whole she grew up with Celestia and Luna crap. That makes no freaking sense.
You know who Opaline should have been was whoever was Twilight's student at the end of G4, because that'd be
Lester
like
Dawn?
a cool revenge story. Yeah, Lester Dawn. Should have been Lester Dawn as an alicorn, like she ascended and she turned evil. That would have been cool. You should do that, like it was all a revenge plot.
Okay, so if
that makes Twilight look even more worse.
Well, she already looks pretty bad.
Yeah, that's something you can fix.
At least it'd be cool.
Honestly, everything with the movie was fine. I don't think the changes all need to start after the movie when the writers stopped caring.
Oh, make Zip the main character, because Zip has real big main character energy. Like, freaking Sunny Star Scout definitely has the hope and stuff down, but, like, Zip's the only one who ever really tries to get shit done.
The biggest problem in G5, in my opinion, is it tries to be within the Friendship is Magic universe, but does not respect the Friendship is Magic continuity. So this guy says, just make it like G4. I don't know if that disqualifies me, but I think if you were to just go through and tweak it until it at least lined up with G4 canon, and didn't retcon anything, then what do you guys think? Does that count?
Kind of. One thing that definitely needs to be
G4.
clarified is the time frame. The time frame was left too vague. We needed like hundreds to thousands of years later to be stated.
Yeah. Emerald, what do you think? How would you rewrite G5?
I think I don't have a horse in this race because I have not seen a single part of G5 yet. I still haven't even finished G4 Season 9.
Cartoons? Like, I've been watching some of them in front of you. Like, I just watch them. The Tell Your Tale, mostly.
That was me, Heather. You've been watching them in front of me.
Oh, yeah.
Emerald hasn't been around for any of that. And I sat there the whole time going, why does this suck? It doesn't need to suck. It's so easy to make things that don't
but
suck.
Then I go
and
back
make
to
it suck.
G4 and I'm like, yeah.
You know
Tell Your Tale is fine. It's the Netflix part where everything went to crap.
Yeah, that's so boring. I can't even get through it. I got through like 2.5 to 3 chapters and I was just like, this is so boring.
And can I rant for a moment about all the G5 stuff? Because there's something that really makes me mad.
Do it.
Yeah, you know what? Give him his moment.
G5 has had now 2 official video games on major consoles.
Wow.
Why did G4 never get a single video game that wasn't on mobile? Why does this crap get 2 official console games?
Yeah, that's crazy. I can't even speculate.
It's on PlayStation 5. Both of them.
God, we all know
Why?
PlayStation 5 has no games.
On Xbox and Switch,
Astro's
too.
Playroom disproves that alone.
Yeah, whatever. That's not the joke. The point is, yeah, I couldn't even speculate as to why G4 didn't get video games, but G5 did. They could have. We could have had Fighting is Magic, but Hasbro had to be dicks. Rusty saying, DJ preach, brother.
Even offered to buy the IP.
The amazing thing is the G4 mobile game is still going.
Oh.
They're still releasing new ponies in that game to get. A lot of them just based off the comics.
Wow. Yeah,
they created nightmare versions for every character.
Dang. So,
including the princesses and Chrysalis.
Do you actually play that game?
I do not. I have a friend who plays it religiously.
Oh, dang. Well, I guess you
like
have
he
to.
literally has timers set for everything he needs to keep doing.
Oh man, that's
Wow.
yeah, because that's the type of game that like makes you wait in order to do anything, isn't it?
Yes.
Holy frick. Let's see here. Uwe Misato says, I don't mind the grimdark stories in Fallout Equestria. Rusty says, my headcanon with Opaline is that she is a nightmare flurry heart. Which, again, doesn't make any sense. How the heck would she have grown up with Celestia and Luna?
Yeah.
Maybe she's crazy.
The writers clearly didn't know what they were doing. Maybe they weren't even talking to each other. It's clear there was no central vision.
Yeah. Paladin Pony T says, Golden Fox is about to play Zelda. Nobody cares about Golden Fox. You're here to see us. We are better than Golden Fox. And we are better than Zelda.
I existed until you said his name.
He was on the show a few weeks
This isn't
ago,
an
Heather.
airline. You don't have to announce your departures.
What was he doing?
I said he was on the show a few weeks ago, Heather.
I wasn't there.
You weren't? Thought you were. He came on. He was in the chat and said, "Oh, I have things to say." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, come on." And he came on.
I completely forgot about him.
Let's see here. James Dennis says, "Hey, Brawny, how was your day today?" I almost died, but don't worry about it. Let's see here.
I took him for a 5K.
Yeah, and we found out I have the body of an 85-year-old for some reason. I don't know why. Let's see here. Let's see what the comments say. I'd rewrite just about everything. All right, let me read through this real quick and see what we agree and disagree with. We got so we can kind of keep the It's the Far Future and Equestria's troubled aspect, but after that, basically nothing resembles G5 as we know it. Hundreds of years after the end of G4, and it all began to fall apart long after G4 is cast and passed away. They are not at fault, nor is any particular villain. Rather, it was simply a long, slow decline in rifts opened in society. The entire world is kept far more grounded with more focus on magic and an aesthetic of such. It's focused on making the world feel vast and mysterious still. There is no advanced technology. I'm not sure I'm done with it. I feel like they're good because G4 was all over with its technology as well.
Yeah, because G4 had like 1800s tech.
But also arcade machines.
So honestly, cell phones and TVs is not an issue I have with G5. That honestly makes sense. We've seen it before in like My Little Pony Tales.
Right.
It's not that much of a break for My Little Pony.
Yeah, let's see here. Thematically, the story is fairly heavy and deals with questions of what gives us the right to rule and how clashing cultures coexist. I'm down with that. We had a little bit of that in G4, and that's clearly kind of what they wanted to do with the movie, and it all just boiled down to like racism bad, but they could have gone so much further with it if they had talented writers. For most of the characters we know them wouldn't exist. Okay, now this I'm not sure I agree with. You can work with characters if you. Yeah,
this isn't even rewriting G5 anymore. This is creating a whole new series.
Yeah, this is just fan fiction at this point. Would be
especially. I already read ahead with the last line. It's fan fiction.
Okay, yeah. So screw this guy, unless somebody else has something to say about it.
It literally, the last line is the ultimate quest is to find the royal sisters and try to bring them back. That's not how you move forward.
That's basically you just saying I want G4 again. So make it so they make
which
G4
was
again.
the disqualifying statement. Let's make it more like G4. Gosh darn it. Let's see here.
Actually, I think that could work, but only if it's like a brief scene with the sisters. They're like, "Hey, come back and fix the question." You're like, "No, we've retired."
And the next guy's still doing it.
That's just make it more
it's
like
funny
G4,
how they all find different ways to like ignore the prompt.
I love all this. God, the wasted opportunities. Frickin' Reddit hive mind.
What is that how technology suddenly becomes oh my frickin' you people don't pay attention to
the show.
Do you even watch the show?
They had movie theaters in My Little Pony. You guys remember the Bab Seats section where she came out of a freaking film?
Yes, they have trains. They have movie theaters. They're in like late 1800s, early 1900s
Revolution for buck's sake.
They have movable type. They had freaking DJ Vinyl Scratch had the freaking the
Whoop cannon.
Yeah, the amplifiers with the mixer board. That is MIDI samples. Gosh darn it. Okay, so now we're at the very least in the 1980s. It's just sometimes we have gas lamps, and it does get inconsistent. The first couple episodes, the train was pulled by a team of Clydesdales, and
So I think at the time that was for sake of visual gag. In terms of in-universe lore, the train might have just been broken.
Maybe. Something that's a good headcanon, I'll buy that. But, and then let's
not forget all the tech that had to go into Coloratura's whole performance in that one episode.
Right, and sometimes we only had gas lamps or candles. People's houses are made out of...
Chalk up to Ponyville being a backwater town.
Most of Ponyville is thatched roof, for God's sakes.
Like, what is it? What are these people saying about how technology suddenly became a thing? That's like saying nothing in Korra made sense after following Avatar. It's the next progression of technology. It's not that surprising they suddenly have TVs and cell phones hundreds of years later when they had steam power. Ish.
Guys, it took us... It was 66 years between the Wright brothers and the moon landing. Technology goes fast.
And again, they're just trying to bring back G4.
What are you saying, Emerald?
The rest of this guy's thing is bringing in Celestia and Luna, Cadence, Shining Armor, and Flurry Heart. It's like, that's not what the purpose of G5 is supposed to be. It is a new generation. Just because it's a sequel to G4 doesn't mean you keep the characters. It's supposed to be something new. You can work off the old world building, but like you shouldn't be having tons of G4 characters show up.
Indeed.
Defeats the purpose of it being a new generation, even if it is a sequel.
DJ, Emerald has been trying to talk.
Sorry.
So, two things. first, one thing to keep in mind is that I believe horse and chariot or horse and buggy or whatever combination thereof was the primary mode of transportation for about 3,000 years before we figured out the automobile, and then look how fast that went. And the second was a question I was asking. When did the Pinky Sense episode happen? The first one.
That was season 1, episode 9, I think. That was Feeling Pinky Keen.
Okay, because I distinctly remember Josh
with
Scorcher's
Twilight's
review of that
analog
episode.
computer.
Yeah, with, as he described it, the frickin' Doc Brown headgear.
Episode 15.
15, okay. You see, I wanted to say 16 at first, but I know that's Sonic Rainboom. Alrighty then.
So, yeah, tech popped up very early, but frankly, it's surprising that they didn't have smartphones, considering they had big old arcade machines of screens, as we saw in Las
one thing they
Pegasus.
didn't have was phones. Like, there weren't phones.
Also with Dragonfire.
I guess,
that
we
would have
still
been
worked
that
off
would have
letters
been
and
an
phones.
interesting thing if they had put that into G5. Like, do we even need magic when we have all this tech? Earth Pony Master Race.
Good question.
So also, we got
wasn't even
Rusty
Earth
in the Discord.
Ponies. Oh, yeah. I wanted to bring up, in G5, Earth Ponies aren't the ones who came up with all the technology, though. It was the Pegasi who made the smartphones and had all the social media. So the Earth Ponies still ain't got shit other than the new plant powers they gave them.
You know what? They have the wings to use it.
I suppose so.
G4 had cameras, for crying out loud, says Gojillion.
I mean, the Earth Ponies still had a fairly modern, like East Coast town. I mean, you could basically think of it as like the town from Murder, She Wrote. It looks practically the same.
So let's see here. What do we got from Spicy Soup 22? 1, Equestria doesn't fall. 2, how technology is just... Oh, for God's sakes. We're going to see a lot of this,
It's all
aren't
the
we?
same shit.
Yeah. It's just... Yeah, I think it's going to be more of the same. Should we move on?
Okay, so that one's actually fine.
Yeah.
No tie into G4. That could...
Oh, okay.
Let's see where this one goes.
All right. So, Heather, read this one out for us.
Okay, so the Knackerman says, number 1, no tie-in to G4. Still a few Easter eggs, but neither FIM nor anything from it is ever directly mentioned or is a major plot point. 2, G5 is more like My Little Pony Tales, focusing primarily on slice-of-life adventures, life lessons, and stuff like that. There's no looming villain in the shadows like Opaline or mysteries that raise more questions than they answer. I like that idea. I do, because like that's probably why Tell Your Tale is basically better than the Netflix stuff. The Netflix stuff tries to be plot heavy, but it just ends up being flat and boring. Whereas Tell Your Tale, it's nothing like it's very like two-dimensional, but it's at least fun most of the time. I genuinely, it's not like a slog for me to get through like it was the Netflix special. Okay, so 3, there are villains, but it's more a monster of the week thing with them showing up and being summarily thwarted in short order. Some are reoccurring, some are reformed, but we don't really get any big bad introduction until the close of the next season. I gotta say, that is something I miss. I loved having villains in My Little Pony and them having a really cool song or something. You know, G5 has not given me any good songs. Like, the best they got was from the movie, the mob song, and I thought that was fun. And, like, we all remember the beginning. It's gonna be my day.
It still has had a couple ones. I like the Halloween song.
It's Gonna Be My Day is not a bad song.
And 4 says, and there are clearly defined seasons. No more of this chapter bullshit. I do hate the new structure. 5, might focus more on secondary and background characters like Posey and Sprout in some episodes. 6, no Sparky.
No
Sparky doesn't add anything. That's fair.
Everyone hates baby characters. I don't get it.
I mean, they just don't do anything. They're like, if you like the gags, it's fun. If not, then it's just kind of
here's why, and it's very simple. Okay, rest in peace. Here's your warning to headphone users in 3, 2, 1. Baby characters aren't characters.
Well, yeah, they're not people yet.
So that's why they're very easily annoyed, or annoying rather. Yeah, I like what this guy says. That could be a very interesting series. Let's do one more. I'll take this one. So I would rewrite most of G5. Here's a few of the things I think are more important than the others. Have it be 10 to 50 years after G4. Interesting. Have more focus on magic, but let some function as parallel to modern technology. Okay, we already did that. Change the art to be more like G4. Okay, no, that's a disqualifier because you can't just make it more like G4. Focus on new group of friends. Or have one of them be Twilight students to bring parallels back to G4. Main 6 or 7 help defeat the big bad in some way. It's always bothered me that Celestia and Luna are pushed to the side when they should be helping defend the lands that they rule. Following that, there should be a second princess to guard dreams like Princess Luna. To raise the lower the moon. Okay, so we're just making it more like G4 as I read this.
Like, at that point, you don't care about the main cast. Because then you're always expecting the main 6 to step in and save the day.
I'm learning more.
And if they're not going to save the day, they're going to have to be nerfed.
Right. I'm learning more and more as we go on here that bronies don't know what they want. I mean, I know what I want because I'm really smart. But for the most part, bronies don't know what they want. I'm going to move on.
But it's clear they only want G4, and they're not interested in anything more new.
Yeah, because G4 was good, and they would have...
Yes, it was, but you have to be able to think of something new.
Yeah, here's the thing, Hasbro. We would have wanted G5 if you made it good. That is literally all you had to do. I will say it again. You cannot make something good out of a bad script. It needs to start with good characters, good story, good voice acting. If your animation can even not be the best. It doesn't, the animation, a lot of people will forgive that. There will be some critics, you'll get some complaints, but a lot of people will even forgive bad or subpar animation if the writing, characters, and voice acting is good. All right?
I mean, it's a bad sign when the chibi animation that came after G4 is better animated than any of the Netflix stuff aside from the movie.
Godforsaken. Team Fortress Analysis Anarchy is a prime example of what I'm talking about here. Good characters, good writing, good voice acting. Everybody watches it. It's animated with PNGs, for God's sakes.
Alden Pony wants to hear your idea for G5.
My idea for G5. Well, I got disqualified because, like I said, I was just going to wreck the whole thing. What would I do for G5? I like the one guy of just making it completely disconnected. But no, I did say earlier that, you know, if I couldn't change it too much, if it had to be a continuation of G4, I would just fix the continuity errors. I would start there. And I'm sure everything else, like once you get the story right, everything else is really easy to deal with. If I could make it its own thing, then it would be its own thing. Like that other guy said. And yeah, I actually, if I scroll back up here, I agree with the Neckerman. You know, what everything this guy said.
Make it just an episodic series.
Yeah.
A lot of people miss episodic series lately, since everything is turned into serialization.
Pretty big requirements.
Ooh, Trent Jerome in the chat, catching me in 4K. Brawny says baby characters aren't characters, and then says you forgot Rugrats.
Ooh.
Here's the thing, though. Rugrats was not a good show.
I couldn't stand to watch it myself.
And Brawny gets canceled again.
You know
I would rather watch All Grown Up.
You know what? If not liking Rugrats, if saying Rugrats is a bad show gets me canceled, I don't want to be uncanceled. That is my Rick Sanchez moment of, you know, your boos mean nothing to me. I've seen what makes you cheer, and it's this frickin' thread. So it's
Brawny thinks just like on executive because they pulled the Rugrats reboot entirely from their streaming service.
Yeah, it was never a good show. It was ugly to look at. It was, I mean, like, yeah, the adult characters are relatable if you're an adult and you know it, and you know about it, but no, you know, nobody in that demographic that it was aimed for was watching it for the adults, and so most people weren't really enjoying it for the frickin' baby characters either, and you know, it was just cringy most of the time. It was ugly and cringy. Moving on to another thread here. What character...
No, I would like to make one more note on that last post there.
Okay, real quick. What's up?
So I think with all the fixation on trying to make it G4 again, I believe what we're seeing is that everyone's seeing, okay, MLP G3 sucked bad, G4 was good, and they dropped the ball on G5. So clearly Hasbro only knows how to make a good pony show if it's G4. When in reality, no, they just need to learn how to make a good show.
It's not even a Hasbro thing. They started off good. They let a talented artist, Lauren Faust, have creative control. Lauren Faust went ahead and hired a whole bunch of other creative artists and then had them help her run the show. And then after they got the ball rolling and, you know, Hasbro took creative control away from Lauren Faust and Lauren Faust left, they still were working off of that same blueprint that she had left, which was really good. G5 is what's happening because Hasbro doesn't have the rights to these characters anymore. They got caught up between Hasbro and Discovery and the Hub. They're just all over the place. That's what happens when that and B, Hasbro is being Hasbro, all right? And when Hasbro is Hasbro, we get G2 and G3. When Hasbro didn't have a chance to screw... Yeah, what do you mean G2 didn't have a show? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it was the toy line only. My Little Ponytails was part of G1.
All right, I'll take your word for it. I didn't know that, but I'll take your word for it. So, yeah, when Hasbro intervenes, you get G3 and G5. When Hasbro lets talented artists do their job, you get G4, and it becomes the best show in the world and the longest running, most profitable thing you've ever had outside of maybe Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering and Ouija boards.
What about Transformers?
Transformers never had a show that ran for 10 years.
Did they not? They had a few good shows.
They've had several that lasted a good long while, though. They had the Japanese anime ones that started with Armada. They had Prime, which was on the Hub as well. Transformers Animated, which was on Cartoon Network. It never anyone that consistently went as long for My Little Pony, but to the point where it's had so many other variants to it.
Yeah. Gojillion, if Hasbro lost the rights to G4, does that mean the main six are public domain? No. The rights and the copyrights and all that for a bunch of the characters of G4 are like split. And it's I don't even think the dust is fully settled. It's just they can use certain characters to a certain extent and others they can't. And I think like even oh god, I saw a really good video about it a few weeks ago, and I wonder
probably
if
why all the seasons aren't available in one place.
Yeah, it's that type of thing. But yeah, Transformers. I got into Transformers at Armada.
Same, actually.
And I remember liking Beast Wars. Like I remember trying to watch Beast Wars, and my mother getting really mad at me and not wanting me to watch Beast Wars.
Why?
So,
it was a good show.
I don't know. My mother was one of those satanic panic type of people. So
For Transformers?
I tell you, one of the worst beatings I ever got. Actually, no, my mother didn't like beat me, but one of the worst freakouts my mother ever had was I was just sitting around minding my own business watching Dragon Ball. And for some godforsaken reason, and looking back on it, I sort of agree. DJ probably knows where I'm going with this. Goku's fighting Frieza. He just turned Super Saiyan, and all of a sudden he starts yelling, "I am the Alpha and the Omega." And however old I was at the time, I don't even remember. I was just like, okay, yeah, he's telling Frieza off. Like, you know, I'm the best and you're going to lose this fight. My mother was like, he's calling himself God. And in retrospect now, being, you know, having read the Bible a few more times, I'm like, oh, I kind of see what she was talking about here. But, yeah, that was, like
Not
we
even
almost,
his actual line.
like I think we lost cable because of that. Like, after that happened, we got rid of cable, and I couldn't watch cartoons for a long time anymore.
Aw, that's lame.
Yeah. Keep in mind, we were also not allowed to have video games in the house until I was 15. I don't even think we were allowed to have video games in the house. It's just my older brother brought home some a Sega and a PlayStation that he stole from somebody, and now we have video games. And then soon later an Xbox showed up. I don't even know how that happened. And at that, at that point,
the English dubbing company took away your cable.
Yeah, at that point,
That's not what he says in Japanese.
Well, yeah, that's not what he says in Japanese, but yeah, yeah, it was totally English dub. It was on Cartoon Network. I can tell you that much. But yeah, well, Gojillion, when Dragon Ball, when Super Saiyan Goku claims to be God, at that point, I sort of understand where she's coming from. I don't know why they did that. Who the frick was out there at Toei or Funimation or wherever the frick, thinking having Goku call himself the Alpha and Omega was a good idea?
Because they wanted to turn him into Superman.
That just sounds like a thing people, like, maybe because I'm used to guys being like, yeah, I'm the alpha dog, or like, nah, man, I'm an omega. So that kind of makes sense to me because people, yeah, probably not, but it's probably where that kind of shit comes from. So I've heard that so much to the point where if someone says,
just
I'm
say
the
I
omega,
am the
I'm
alpha
not
and the omega. You don't just say that.
You answer
really?
your question.
I don't know. It sounds like something some weebs would say.
To answer your question, Gojillion, how in the name of Pete do you think Dragon Ball Z is satanic? Oh, I mean, you do have the savior of the world being Mr. Satan, who gets a city named after him called Satan City. The original series had Devil Man. And then you had Dabura, king of the demons, show up later in Z.
Yeah.
There's a lot of demons.
There really is. Piccolo was originally called the Demon King.
Yeah, and then he turned out to be a slug.
It's funny.
Slug Man!
It turned out to be a Yoshi.
Are you a Yoshi?
So yeah, that's what happened there. But because that type of thing, yeah, we had one of those sorts of Christian households where we were very sensitive to that kind of thing, and as a result, I was not allowed to watch Beast Wars or play video games, and I think I'm better off for it. At a certain point, it was just easier to let my older brother bring video game consoles into the house than it was to fight with him about it because he's kind of a psycho. But that's what happened. I've been rambling for far too long. Let's see what we got here. What character who doesn't already have kids would be a good parent? Who hasn't read one yet?
I think all three of us have, I think.
Okay,
your turn?
So all right, let's see here. Just curious what you would think of a character doesn't already have kids would be a good parent. Let me think for a second here. Good parent. Doesn't already have kids.
No.
You see, I was going to say Pinky, but Pinky is a parent. What character? Maybe it doesn't have to be the main six.
This qualifies Big Mac as well. They already have kids.
Yeah,
they have kids. We could talk about Applejack.
Luda
We didn't see her have kids, but undoubtedly she's gonna hit her pitfalls with being overprotective. But overall, I don't think she'd be a bad mother.
I could see that, but yeah, she definitely has a serious weak spot that I don't know she ever really got over for family. Most of Applejack's episodes are about her freaking out something family related or working too hard. So let's see here.
Yeah, it's definitely something she's got to rein in, but eventually the lesson starts to set in.
Eventually, hopefully. I can't really see much of the main six being a good parent. because Twilight would freak out if the kid ever brought home a bee.
Or a
Amethyst-
quesadilla, or a ladybug.
Yeah, those things.
Well,
just
we're
so
talking
stupid.
parent-oriented freak out, not just like those kinds of freak outs.
Yeah, Pinkie Pie. I mean, even Pinkie Pie's kind of out there because like both her and Cheese Sandwich are freaking crazy. So what's the?
Well, we've seen her babysit, so she clearly knows how to handle babies at this point.
I guess so.
So at least there's that.
God, Shining Armor and Cadence are decent parents, but we know because they already have kids. Rainbow Dash, I think would be an absent parent. So would Rarity.
Too committed to their jobs.
And Fluttershy
might be good at it.
No, Fluttershy would 100% be an enabler. Okay, Fluttershy has too much in common with her parents, and parents like Fluttershy or parents like, Fluttershy's parents create kids like Zephyr Breeze.
Well, I don't
More
know. She was
often
putting
than
her hoof
not.
down pretty hard with both her parents and Zephyr. She got quite assertive by the end of the series.
What do you guys think?
I'm trying to think outside the box here.
It might
Hell,
be
I don't know
hard
if
for her
anyone
to say
heard
no
me when I said it
initially,
earlier,
but-
but I said I thought Luna would be a good parent.
We know nothing about how she deals with. Well, actually, we do. We've seen her interact with the Cutie Mark Crusaders and all that. But how does that?
Yeah, she's a
translate
good
to
aunt.
parenting, because it's kind of. I mean, I wouldn't say it's offhand. It's very direct, but I guess that shows a good sense of like a teaching ability.
I do think the Royal Sisters would make good parents. So yeah, I do think they would make good parents. Let's see what the comments say. Applejack. Family is a huge part of her identity, and I overall think her personality and temperament would make her a really good parent. I think she would be overprotective.
I like Raziel's. That's good thinking.
Say what?
Raziel down there.
Cranky Doodle and Matilda.
Matilda.
I agree.
Would most likely be adoption, but I think they would be great foster parents.
Yeah. Yeah, like if they were, if they managed to get back together when they were younger and could have kids. But like if your parents are older and more mature and more stable when you're born and they stay together, you've actually got pretty good chances. I had one guy I used to be friends with. He's like, Brawny, you have an old soul. And I'm like, what do you mean I have an old soul? He goes, how old were your parents when you were born? And I said, my parents were 34 when I was born. And he goes, yep, that explains it. You have older parents, so you were raised more maturely. And I was like, well, dang.
You also have older siblings, so they got a few practice rounds in.
I guess so. The thing I say is that, okay, so my oldest biological sibling is my sister. Is my older sister, right? I got a whole bunch of like god siblings or like adopted siblings, right? But my older sister is my oldest biological sibling. And as far as I can tell, she's the only one that came out right. So the thing I'd say around the house is, you guys should have quit while you were ahead. Because you had no good sons. So that's what I say. And then how old was my sister? Were my parents when my sister was born? I think. Let me see. I was born when they were 34. My older brother is 6 years older than me, and my older sister is 8 years older than me. So it's 34 minus 8.
26.
26. Which is still, decent. And my father, well, both of my parents were doing pretty well for themselves and came from very stable, very virtuous backgrounds themselves. So I lucked out. I got really, really good parents. Honeydrop says, Doctor and Derpy. If they settle down, I could see it.
Not all that adventure stuff.
Yeah,
What about Gabby?
Gabby? Oh, Gabby Griffin?
Well,
Gabby-
she was very
Yeah.
young when we saw her.
Yeah, that's. I feel like Gabby is too young to make a call.
I could see her being a decent parent, though. With her male position, I don't know. Would she be the one who brings the kid in the satchel bag all the time?
That'd be hilarious. Let's
Also,
see
we
here.
never found out if griffins lay eggs or have birth.
Yeah, that's. I don't think we want that question answered. There's no way for it to end well with the fandom. I'm reminded of a DeviantArt post I saw one time, and Lauren Faust was taking
This
questions.
sentence is already doomed.
Yeah, this is early in the fandom. We're talking like 2011. And Lauren Faust was taking questions on her DeviantArt, and somebody asked, "Where do baby ponies come from?" And Lauren Faust goes, "Normal mammalian reproduction." And somebody says, "Oh no, do you know what you've just done?" So yeah, let's see here. What else we got? I think
I'm
Spike.
kind of curious what other comments might be. I want to see some out of the way ones.
Let's see here. Applejack and Fluttershy. Rarity. I
Oh,
still thi-
guys, it is 10:02.
Oh yeah, we gotta wrap this up. We do have a lot of topics to get to though. So
I
yeah,
gave you so many.
Heather's got to go stream. Heather, open up Pal World for me so I can grind coal while you're streaming.
You got it, girl. Just as soon as the cat stops rubbing up on my headphones, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
leave you early so I can go do all that, honey.
Sounds good. So
Bye,
just say
Heather.
good night to everybody.
Good night, everybody. I hope you have a great night. See me on my channel in a couple minutes for my stream.
I need you all.
I'll be over when
to,
we wrap up here.
Yep, I need you all to head over to Heather Blossom's channel right now and subscribe to it if you're not already, and watch her Chaos and Crochet stream. They're a lot of fun. I'll be there and hanging out as well. So yeah, sorry we had to end so abruptly here. We do have a lot of topics now to cover, though. I've got a lot of things tabbed here, and I got some other topics that I'm working on with some special guests. Hopefully that'll happen sometime soon. So thanks everybody who tuned in tonight, and thanks everybody who supports the channel, especially the $10 and up tier, such as Heather, who was with us. There's also Emerald and DJ, who are with us. There's Shady, Autoknight, Senko, Rain, Billy, Alden, Kanto, Sonic, Alicia, Calbeck, StarChaser, VentureCorp, Willyzin, Icanus, Vulpecula, Raptors Talon, Jimmy, J Yoshi, and Dark Malcontent. Anyway, yep, stay safe, God bless, and we will see you all later. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night,
Good night,
everybody.
everybody.